And we're back with another episode of the AC Milan Zone podcast. I'm Stefano. I'm Stefan. I can't even say my name. I am Stefano, and I'm joined, as always, by my comrade and friend Oscar. Welcome back.
Thank you. What was it? What's your name?
My name is Ed.
My name is Stefano. It's nice to be back.
Before we get into it, if you're watching this live, thank you. Feel free to contribute in the chat. We'll get to all your questions and comments. Please subscribe and follow. If you're watching the replay of this, drop a like and subscribe. But of course, before you do anything, you must say hi to the Capolista. Salutate la Capolista. AC Milan, still at the top of the league. It looked like a lost cause. We talked at length about the absolute bad juju that playing Torino in Torino has for our squad. But we come out victorious. A big comeback, a huge Pulisic flu game in 60 seconds. Tell me what you thought about this game, the emotional roller coaster.
Oh, the emotional roller coaster. Honestly, it's when was the last time we came back from 2-0, first of all? I mean, we were messaging each other, and then after obviously Zapata's second goal, or the second Torino goal there at 18 minutes, we were like, oh, this is done. Because even with Allegri and, he wasn't even, well, he was there on his phone, of course. But I thought it was done for. And what a comeback. You could definitely tell Allegri's and the whole coaching staff's experience. Like under Pioli, this would have been GG's. We wouldn't have come back. We would have played terribly. We wouldn't even have tried to push. So massive 3 points. Like you say, top of the table. It's now December, almost mid-December. Cassano, obviously he won't be watching this because he can't even speak Italian, but the clips keep on rolling from him from about a couple of months ago saying Napoli and Inter would be clear of everyone else at this point. And if this was a Scudetto winning season type performance in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. This feels like one of those moments that tell you a lot about a team. Obviously, with all the good and like every time there's a big comeback victory, there's obviously a lot of problems. We got ourselves in trouble, and we'll get on more about that. But absolutely huge to clear this victory. I think I totally agree with you. In the Pioli times is one of those where we wouldn't have the ability to sort of kick back and fight adversity like we did. And even this year, I think we've shown sometimes to not be able to do that. And that's perhaps some of the hangover from a terrible year that we had last year and the Fonseca and Conceição times, where you knew if things were starting to go badly, there was absolutely no coming back. And it shows that this team has fight. I want to get back after to the title fight and hear your thoughts about how we stack up against Inter Napoli. But first, we must talk about Captain America. I mean, what a storyline. The flu game, Chris MJ Pulisic steps up. He doesn't travel with the team. He himself, after the game, said that he was dead 2 days before the game.
39 degrees fever.
Yeah,
apparently.
They pump him of Tachipirina or Oki, or I don't know what they gave him. He travels on game day to Torino, gets on the bench, and then comes in, and the stats are ridiculous from that game. Barely like FIFA, barely any touches. Scores 1 minute after coming in, 10 minutes after that gives us the win. Has another goal disallowed for offside. What do you have to say about Pulisic? You were bringing up to me his numbers in terms of goal and assist per minute.
I think
tell me a little bit about Chris.
I think it's a goal and assist per 40 minutes in the Serie A now.
Yeah, no player in the top 7 leagues in Europe has better goal and assist per 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, I mean, what a performance, even though it was quite short. And like you say, he had barely had any touches and got a goal given offside. What a player. I mean, we don't even need to discuss man of the match, really. There were some good performances by other players, at least after the 2-0, after going down 2-0. But he is our savior. It feels like. No disrespect to Leao, of course, who pulled up injured. Lucky we can get into that later. But yeah, Pulisic is a game winner. Without him, and without Leao, I mean you can take out any of your top two strikers or top two attackers in any team and say like, well, where would they be? But we would be in relegation battles. It feels like if we just had Nkunku and Santi Jimenez, which we paid more for than both Leao and Pulisic together. But yeah, what a performance, and the best American player of all time at this point. I feel like I don't think we've, no disrespect to the US. I'm not a US hater just because he happens to be from the US, but I don't think anyone's performed at this level this high. At a
Yeah.
Milan, in a Serie A. The Premier League have been blessed with some very good players like Clint Dempsey, your Donovans, but this is outwardly, and it's perfect timing for the US coming up for the World Cup.
Yeah, it seems like he's ramping up to that, and I hope they do well. I've gone on record in private chats with our friends and on a video that will probably drop tomorrow if I have time on our Instagrams. But I will go on record on a podcast as well. If Italy doesn't make the World Cup, which we'll find out soon enough, sign me up for Team USA. I'm all in. I'm gonna get the hat. I'm gonna get some bald eagle sounds in the podcast. I'll also work on a soundboard. Sign me up, simply because I will follow this man anywhere. I mean, I just love him. Obviously, the goals and assists speak for themselves, but as we always say, he doesn't have a bad game, even when he doesn't impact, even when things don't go his way or our way in general. Just the hustle. I just love him. So yeah, if Italy doesn't qualify, I'm gonna buy some American gear, and I'm all in for Team USA.
Wow. I think I'd probably be Mexico, just purely because my old housemate, he was Mexican, and I went to Mexico for a wedding and fell in love with the country. But fun fact, you mentioned the bald eagle sound. Now this is completely off topic. The bald
Birdman,
eagle doesn't sound. Your typical, not propaganda, but your U.S. hype videos, and they show the bald eagle and the screech. That's actually not a bald eagle that makes that sound. It's a hawk.
What does a bald eagle sound very different from a hawk? In my mind, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, you see, now you're being a bird racist.
Now the Americans are like, we don't want you to support our team anymore.
Yeah. No. Okay, so you're full into the US. That's interesting. I mean, it's not really that interesting. One of our best friends, he's American, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I just feel like
our best player.
Exactly.
Portugal, I wouldn't really want to go support because they don't need it. You love an underdog story.
Exactly.
But,
that's also the thing. I think I like Croatia because Croatia always had a great underdog, and we have Luka Modric now. But the US is a perfect sweet spot of Pulisic, and just being an underdog compared to like your Portugals. We can follow Leao.
If Sweden or Italy don't make it, I'm for any team against Norway. So.
That works, and Norway's looking good. They might, I don't know what group they're in, but they might make it far. But what would you want to start? Do you want to start first with Oscar pessimistic corner and talk about some players that didn't shine, or do you want to go to Stefano's highly underrated pick of the game?
We can go to the pessimistic corner.
Okay.
Oscar's pessimistic corner. I think there was a lot of lack of concentration throughout the game for some players. Notably the Tomori handball. He didn't really track the run, and of course it was a bit of a flipper situation when the ball came up. But we were praising Tomori, and look, that didn't define his entire game. He obviously got an assist as well. So even though I think the assist to Rabiot, which was
technically yes,
goal.
Yeah.
So right,
one of those assists that like the Messi assist where you're like, oh, I gave the ball to him and then he dribbled 7 players and scored.
Yeah.
Still counts.
Yeah. But at the end of the season, a stat is a stat. No, but I didn't think that was. I think that was vintage Tomori the last few seasons. Just a bit of lack of concentration.
Yeah. Careless.
Silly. And it is a handball. At the end of the day, he stretches it out and kind of looks on purpose, but he's obviously doesn't know where the ball is, and he sees Che Adams being sort of making a bit of a directional run in the box. So obviously he's going to put his arm out, and silly, very silly to concede. And Nkunku, while he's sort of got that Santi Jimenez, I don't know, curse, whereby he does make good runs, But end of the day, you're there to score goals, really, and just not seeing it whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm curious.
He seems loss of confidence. There are some situations in the game where you see a striker go straight for goal there, or straight into the box, and he just kind of curves his run, and then ends up losing the ball completely. Albeit against a couple of Torino defenders, but he shouldn't have put himself in that situation. So yeah, Nkunku's still under delivering for me, disappointing, but we win anyways.
Yeah, I agree with both. I think Tomori came perfectly in terms of our talking point last week. I'd asked you, what do you make of Tomori, and in general, what kind of player he is. He alternates bad games to good games. First season was incredible. Last few seasons have been less. And this is the peak Tomori, right? The man of the match last game, and then follows a performance like this. Yeah, I agree with you that the handball is not that he's looking for it, but he's just, 2 minutes in, all over the box, gets pushed around, arms flailing. That handball is impossible not to call. As soon as you see the replay, you're like, yeah, that's going to be called 10 times out of 10. For the rest, he doesn't have a terrible game. But yeah, in the season that we're having with the team that we have at the moment, and the football that we play, it's very much a season that's going to be decided by moments within each game. We can see the Inter ones where we deserve less. We can see like the Juve ones where we deserve more, and the moments don't go our way. These are the things that will end up costing you points. It didn't this time, but
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to say as well. Is that I love this Milan, and I think we're deservedly top of the table. We've beaten most of the big teams, but there are performances like this where Pulisic outshines everyone, saves the day. Rabiot scores an absolute wild goal, and
banger.
I've got a stat. I've got a bit of a trivia for you afterwards about the Rabiot goal.
Okay.
But it kind of covers up some things, and I think in our predictions I said I want Milan to win comfortably against and we have a curse in Torino and whatever, but Torino isn't a quality side. We should be dispatching this game a lot more comfortably. So it kind of is worrying. I don't want to be super pessimistic. We are top of the table. We won 3-2 away to Torino, broke the curse. But there are some of these lack of concentrations against smaller teams that I think might bite us in the long run.
Yeah, a few very good points. I think you're right in terms of it will definitely come bite us down the line. I think that's what the biggest differentiator between us and Napoli and Inter. I don't know what you think, but my take on it is, it's a 3-horse race so far, definitely. Obviously, the points say that. And you can see the gap building between the rest. But I think if I had to pick, it would still be 1A, Napoli and Inter, and us 1B. Simply because you see them dispatching smaller teams easily, like teams who win the Scudetto do, right? We've been doing great in the scontri diretti, in the direct matchups against the other bigs. But all of them were close, some more than others. Against Napoli, we played great until obviously we got the red card. I think against Roma, we did very well. Against Juve, we did very well. But, that game against Inter, if we played a similar game, you win sometimes, but you draw and lose a lot. I would put, if all teams, 3 teams were neutrals, I would put my money on the teams that are able to go to Torino away, and all the other sort of smaller teams and dispatch them. This is something that we can grow into for sure. It takes a while after the terrible season that we've had. But I do still think that even without European competition, we are sort of half a step behind the two. Now, it doesn't mean it's impossible. They have their own challenges. They have in European competition, Napoli, although maybe not for too long. We'll see how they do. They also have both. I think a lot of people bring up the European competition sort of as an excuse as why Milan should absolutely win the league. And it's like our squad is so much thinner than both of theirs. I feel like it's kind of like having European competition when you have one competition but such a thin squad. If one of our defenders gets injured, we're doomed. We have yet to play with proper strikers because Pulisic and Leao started one game together. And I'll get back to Nkuku because you brought him up and I want to talk about him too. And Jimenez have been what they are, and they've both missed times. Jimenez now has been out for a long time. Nkuku missed the beginning of the season. He's still not in shape. We see no one is able to substitute Salemakers. Partezagi thankfully came through as a youngster. Midfield situation was pretty dire up until now. Loftus-Cheek has had to play striker for a long time. So, it's. I think it's the trouble. Do you see us at the same level as them, or still a little bit low like me?
No, I think I agree with you. You can certainly see the contrast in game style and tactics who it is we're playing against, because we played well against the top six, if you want to call that. Apart from Atalanta, that game was that was a one-off. But Juve, Inter, Roma, and then you look at a game like this, Torino, or even when you go back to Pisa or Cremonese, which happened to be the first game of the season. But how we structure our team and that we're supposed to be dominating, and that leaves gaps in the back. And I think that's where we start showing, I shouldn't say the true colors of Pavlovic, Gabbia, and Tomori, but we don't have that defensive block and that organization, and we get hit on the counter, and it's sort of headless chicken sometimes, as we saw on the second goal there, on Zapata's goal. But I don't agree with that. People saying like, "Oh, Milan should win the league because they don't have Champions League." They're only saying that now to make excuses. I mean, go back to August, everyone was tipping or saying that we would end up being what, 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yeah,
that was their prediction. Most experts and even your Casanos. Now I don't hold Casanos' footballing opinion very highly. Fantastic player, could do things with the ball that very few people can. But I think that's just an excuse saying that they should win it. I mean, teams have been out of Europe by December. And had January, February, March, April, May to come back. So
many times.
Many times.
I think that's also kind of how Italy media kind of goes. Where in a lot of other countries, it's often, we're the strongest team because, and Italian teams are also the first one to do this at home. It's, everyone else should win it. We're actually very terrible, and if we do anything good, we're overachieving, right? It was, I think it's maybe a lot of that. But yeah, remains to be seen. For Nkuku, I mean, first time this season he played 90 minutes, which I think, hopefully shows some at least ability to be there physically. Now he kind of had to with Leao coming off, no Santi, Pulisic injured, sick at least, and coming in with us losing, so he's not going to take out the only sort of true forward that we had. I think the first half was rough. I agree with you. I remember one time clearly where he's kind of through in space and has a one-on-one, doesn't attempt it. And at least I want to see I move the ball to the side and I try a shot. Even if I kind of know it's going to get blocked, but at least, as a striker, I have it. And it just doesn't come through. I thought he grew in the second half, and now it's the second time that we've seen him do this. I think also against Lazio. Now, he didn't show much overall, but an improvement, I think. It seems a lot in the head as much as the being in form physically. Even on the goal that was disallowed, he makes the extra pass, which makes total sense. You want to secure the victory, get the easy goal to Pulisic. But especially when you kind of know you're offside, you kind of want to see a striker one-on-one with a goalkeeper just kind of slot that away. At least an informed striker or confident striker would do. It's a bit of a problem. Milan seems to have given up on Santi from the press rumors. We'll see if and when he gets back, how many more games he plays. I don't think we're quite there with Nkuku, but I think it's close. So I do have to agree with you that it's definitely in the pessimistic corner for our team. Do you want to use your Rabiot trivia now or later?
I could do it now because what a goal, by the way. Cavallo Pazzo completely did. I mean, it's one of those. It's like, why is he shooting? When he's lining up the shot, and then it's just an absolute beauty. And it's been a while since we've seen a goal like that. I mean, look, Leao and Pulisic have scored beautiful goals,
Yeah, but not that far.
Theo,
That was like
Theo,
edge of the box.
Theo Hernandez dribbles, all that kind of stuff. Even
Mm-hmm.
your couple of Ibra bangers and Rebic bangers. But do you know who was the last player and when it was to score a goal from the same distance for AC Milan?
Ooh,
29 meters, I believe it was.
29. Yeah, because Rabiot was way out there. Also, the
It was
alternate
really
angles of
far.
that goal were sick.
Yeah,
And how perfect. I mean, we're creating absolutely nothing.
yeah,
He then puts Richie in for Leao, and that worked very well. But we were
yeah.
creating nothing, so he really created something out of nowhere. So Teo scored against Lazio, but I think he was closer than that. Another one where Leao goes out early actually, and Teo finds a long shot. Um, I remember the like Balotelli maybe long shot against Bologna, but also I think it's closer. Is that it? No?
That was pretty far out, but there was one more recent than the Balotelli. I'm not gonna say it was recent. I'll give you a hint. It was 9 years ago.
9. Okay, so around the
Yes.
Balotelli time. I'm so bad with years, but I was gonna say maybe Suso against Udinese, or was it Udinese? You remember this?
Suso is one of those players.
Okay.
I mean, I can't. I saw this on Twitter. I should
Okay.
say. I
So it's
should
on a
tell you this,
list.
but
You just
but
have
I'm
the
pretty
win.
sure this is a true stat because when I saw
Okay.
the goal, it's from the similar.
So it's on the
similar.
Suso.
No.
9 years. Who had the crazy long? We really don't have that many long shots, so it's kind of hard, but it's also kind of easy because you probably can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
9 years. Yeah. Is it our favorite player? Number 10, Keisuke Honda had a crazy long shot one time. Oh, that was from very far.
Yes,
And that was
good
hard
one,
because it was a good long shot, but if I remember right, the goalkeeper wasn't great.
It was a bit of a pop it up, but
Yeah.
that was since
It was like
we
bottom
haven't scored a
corner
goal.
ish, no? Not like a Rabiot long shot that went top bins.
No, but I think that's the furthest away we've scored. So, like that's the most
Kinda
recent
crazy,
time.
actually,
Yeah,
you say that.
2016. I can't remember against who it was. I should find that
Um,
video. Yeah, those were dark times.
Those were dark
thought that
times.
was
But
because
Keisuke Honda,
when we scored when Rabiot scored that I mean I messaged him like when was the last time we saw a goal like that? We've seen beautiful goals, but
Yeah.
like a proper long shot.
yeah,
top
properly
bins,
taken. Long
the ball
time.
kind of goes.
Yeah. Yeah, back in like Sedorf, Chievo. Yeah, Balotelli, again, much
Yeah.
closer, but that kind of
Pirlo
random
against
shot against
Pirlo
Bologna.
against Parma. Yeah.
Ooh, Pirlo against Parma is a great one. Yeah, the one where Ronaldinho goes like this. That's a great shout. We have to be the Milan podcast or the football podcast that brings up Keisuke Honda the most. And it's not even close.
Maybe we should reach out to Keisuke Honda, have him on the podcast.
I wonder what he's up to. Maybe he's like coaching.
Wasn't he? I think was he a player manager in the Burmese league or something? It's
That
something
honestly
crazy.
rings a bell, yeah. Because
Or
I thought I read
Indonesian
like some
league?
headline where he substituted himself in or something.
Yeah, he managed and played like 4 games and he scored 2 goals or something, which you'd expect.
You know what? I will
Keisuke
personally
Honda.
reach out to Honda and get ghosted just on the off chance that we get him on the podcast.
He had a hilarious press conference. I think he played for Melbourne, an Australian team, and they interviewing him, and he's on stage with the sporting director. And no, this isn't to make fun of anybody's accent, but he said that's fact, like a fact.
Yeah.
But obviously with his accent, it comes up as that's fucked.
Fucked, yeah.
And also Australian accent. It was hilarious. The sporting director had to lean in and says, "That's not what you guys think it is." That he said.
Before you guys get ahead, yeah, especially in Australia, that is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yes, back to the
Should've
game.
gone
I think now we
shit.
can go to the underrated corner. In this, I have to bring up, and I'm gonna butcher his name. And I told him I was gonna butcher his name, Matthias or Matthias. It sounds more like Matthias. He might be maybe Netherlands or Belgium origin, but a follower that brought this point up, and we discussed a little bit. I'm gonna get your thoughts before I talk about mine. He asked about Ruben Loftus-Cheek performance, who I think did well, and that's why I bring him in the sort of highly underrated Stefano corner. And then if you thought he should be ahead of Fofana in the hierarchy. Now, this is also tough to tell. He started in the Fofana position, then went to sort of striker once Leao got subbed, then went to right wing once Pulisic came on and Salamakers went to the other side. But what did you make of Ruben Loftus-Cheek's performance?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've not been the most positive around Ruben Loftus-Cheek throughout the couple of years now, since the PSG performance, the Ballon d'Or performance at PSG. It's one of those, I can't really hate on him or say that he's playing poorly because he's being moved around so much, as a, different roles, different midfield partners, different striker partners, like you say, moved out to right wing back or right wing. So you can't really hate on him for having a bad performance. Or I shouldn't say he had a bad performance, but having a great performance. If he's being moved around from week to week, he's had some small injuries here and there. So I think he's quite a good Swiss Army knife. But it's more of like filling in the holes rather than allowing him to blossom as a player. Is he ahead of Fofana? I think he should be ahead of Fofana, but I think Ricci should be ahead of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So technically second in the hierarchy.
Okay, very fair.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
To report, I mean, Matthias kind of agreed. He said he thought he had a good game and he said better than Fofana. Now we all know that I'm probably the last defender of Fofana. So and quite Ruben Loftus-Cheek, not hater, but not appreciator for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's this fair for me to discuss it this game because I did think he had a good game. It always feels like there's a little left on the table with him. I feel like he's always never fully imposing himself. And now at this point, he's done it for so much, and maybe it's more in my head. It's like, oh, I expect him to give him more. Maybe that, that's an unfair expectation for me to put on him. I do think if you look back at the stats, and I sent these to Matthias, Milan fans see the Fofana, long shot that goes, out of San Siro and say this guy's trash. But don't consider, all the times that all the things he creates and all the times he gets himself in those positions, all the flicks and setups that he has. He has a few assists. He should have a lot more. I can think on the top of my head at least 2 or 3 that Leao and Pulisic didn't put away. So to me, and I think to Max Allegri, probably more importantly than me, Fofana is still way ahead of Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Way ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think if both are healthy and it's, the final of the Champions League, I think Fofana starts in Allegri's mind 10 times out of 10 ahead of Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
And also slightly different type of players in a way.
Very true, yeah.
And you need to balance the midfield. I mean, you can have 3 Modric's, which is great, or you can have 3 Barellas or 3 Rodris. That doesn't make a midfield balanced,
That's very, very true. Yeah. And I think that's probably also why Allegri likes him so much, because he's sort of struck gold with the Rabiot, Modric, Fofana balance. But I do have to say that I very much agree with you with Ricci. What I saw from Ricci in this game was very, very good. I thought Max was brilliant in, you're down 2-1, scoring a goal that, you're not going to replicate easily. Jimenez is out, Pulisic is on the bench sick, your best player and best striker comes off injured. It's easy, everyone reaches in the bench and says, okay, Puli, off you go. Instead, he brings on Ricci because he knows that, look, we're not creating anything. If I throw up on a striker, he's just going to be another person that receives no service. We need some ball players in the midfield, and it worked. I thought we looked much better after Ricci came on. And look, Ricci's grown a lot. I thought he was getting a lot of praise from Milan fans. Some of it was a little bit of like, oh my God, we love you, and not so warranted at the beginning of the season. This game, he was great. His work with Loftus-Cheek worked very well. He serves up an assist. But in general, just a lot of fight, some good crossing. And I think he is, I agree with you. When Fofana comes back, if someone is threatening that position, to me, it's more Ricci than Loftus-Cheek. Although, and this brings us to a very quick aside about the transfer market coming up soon. There is some rumors about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. A lot of Premier League sides have looked into him. We have starting to look about maybe putting him in some packages. There was some talk about, unfortunately, us sending him to Napoli for a deal that would bring us Luca, which would be just absolute disgrace. But
Yeah,
apparently
no, right, thank you.
he wants minutes. So I think this is
Yeah,
not just a Milan want, but also a player pushing for it. He wants some minutes. I think he's got the World Cup in his sights. He's clearly liked by Tuchel, and so he says, "Look, give me some minutes, and maybe I can get into the World Cup squad," which is fair. Look, if everyone's healthy, and you take into account Jashari, he is in my mind the sixth choice. Modric and Rabiot always play if it's an important game. Ricci's looking tasty.
yeah,
Fofana is not going anywhere. Even if he's not the starter, he's gonna be there. Uh, Jashari, you spent a lot of money, so I think it makes
yeah.
sense.
He's a bit of a surplus in a way, if everyone's fit and healthy.
Yeah. Would you be happy to see him go or happy to get rid of him?
I mean, I'd understand it from his perspective. Would I understand it from Milan's perspective? I mean, we've kind of sort of, I shouldn't say struggled, but we've had injury woes, and that's where he's come in and been great. Um, well, I shouldn't say great, but he's helped us at least. I mean, I wouldn't be sad to see him go. It depends, like you say, on who we get back. I think we were talking about Luca last season about how we wanted to have Luca in our team. He's not really performed well for Napoli, but then they also went out and got Højlund. So I think he uh, might feel a bit disappointed in also his minutes. I wouldn't be upset to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek go. To be honest,
Yeah.
not that upset. Depending on, like, not for free, obviously,
Yeah.
and not on a loan. I'd want a player back of some
Yeah.
sort. In the NBA and the NHL, you talk about trades rather than transfers like this. But I'd rather want a proper player that could go into our team and play some minutes. And a striker is really what we need.
Yeah, I
A
yeah, I
proper
kind of
striker.
I've turned a little bit on Luca. Last season, I thought it would have been interesting, sort of as the fourth striker option for us and more of a target man. This year has looked very rough in the few times that he
Yeah.
got. Just you can do badly and still be like, like even players like Nkunku is looking very rough. But you see that there's a good footballer there. There's good touch. There's good ability with the ball. Which of course isn't enough, but you can see a trait. Watching Luca has been rough. Now maybe he turns it around. Of course, he's still very young, and with Lukaku coming back to training, you'll wonder, and Højlund sort of killing, you'll wonder if he'll get any minutes. I'm not surprised that Napoli's would be willing to ship him out. But yeah, not the right moment for us to. I don't want to, as I said before, I don't want to jump ship from Santi to another sort of
Yeah.
maybe semi-helpless case that we need to rescue. Then I'd rather keep Santi and go for someone bigger in the summer. But the loan question also brings up something that I saw a little bit online and I thought about. We have currently a player on loan out at Atalanta who's not getting any minutes, and his name is another
Yes.
American, Musa. And with not any subs for Salemakers, we'll see what Atakame is. He's been injured, but he's still pretty raw. Someone who can play right wing back, but also maybe midfielder. And look, is he another great player? Absolutely not. But we're talking about, getting spot minutes against Pisa at right wing back, so that Salemakers doesn't
Just
literally
having
die.
bodies.
Yeah.
We need
Would
bodies.
you bring him back? I would much rather, get rid of Ruben Loftus-Cheek if he wants to go get minutes somewhere in the Premier League to try to make the World Cup squad, get some money, call back Musa, and then see what we can do with the strikers up top.
Yeah, I mean, look, we weren't the biggest fans of Musa. I don't think Musa himself is the biggest fan of Musa. Uh, but he's also maybe a bit of like a Swiss Army knife where you can kind of plug him into holes. And like
Yeah,
you say, he's not going to be coming back to Milan, and we're going to be starting him because he's not getting any minutes for Atalanta.
yeah,
And he's still very young. Maybe I shouldn't say maybe he's learned something, but yeah, I think in a non-technical role like a right wing back, I think he'd be fine for 45 minutes against Pisa, or at
yeah.
least starting against a Pisa or
He
something like
does
that.
have
I
an
think
engine on him.
yeah, he has an engine on him. We play quite a tactical game. It's not like the Piolis and the Conceicãos and the Fonseca where we're relying on individual performances. It's very
Mm-hmm.
much a well-oiled machine that needs
Mm-hmm.
to work. And I think Musa has probably the somewhat of an experience and the capabilities to just be a cogwheel that he doesn't need to outshine everyone. He
Yeah.
can have 6 out of 10 performance every single game, and yeah, like you say, plug holes, be a backup, be a body for Selemakers. I wouldn't mind getting him back purely because he's not getting minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the
Exactly.
loan, I
So
think the idea of the loan was not necessarily to cut costs with wages. It was more also that he is still young. Maybe came into the wrong timing of Milan, like we say with a lot of other players that we had last season, that came in at the wrong time and in a bit of a toxic Milan. Uh, I think we loaned him out with the idea of him getting minutes and experience, and he's not getting it for Atalanta. So what's the point of keeping him out on loan?
yeah, and I think there is an option, but clearly if Atalanta doesn't play him, they're not gonna give us the money for that.
Provide.
So
Yeah,
if he just comes back in the summer with older, less minutes in his legs
yeah,
and not um, not you know his value doesn't go up, depreciating asset. I'd say bring him back. Allegri used him in preseason. I think you're right. I think he gets himself in trouble when he's asked to do too much.
yeah,
But he does have an engine. He does have a motor. I think in an Allegri team as a fifth, in defense, a wing back where he's just asked to cover and run. He can do well. And
yeah.
again, not as the
Just
starter, but against smaller teams. I
yeah,
would
yeah. Don't
I would
ask
do
him
that
to
in a
be a
heartbeat.
double. Don't ask him to be a double pivot with Benacer, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously,
But
that
I
was
think
last season.
he could slot in also in that third midfielder that Fofana, Ruben Loftus-Cheek,
Yeah, he could.
Ricci, because he is be able to go forward. I think he could do a
A
few
Swiss
things.
Army knife. A
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife. Yeah.
So I would do that in a heartbeat. I see Swiss Ovi saying bring him back. He needs minutes for the World Cup. I think that's also a great motivator for many players. So I would heavily consider doing that. But we'll see what the January craziness brings back. Hopefully, maybe he would have like a Gabbia time. Now, Gabbia played actually when he went on his 6-month loan before being called back. Musa, not
Yeah.
so much, but we'll see. We've been going for very long. It is time to now focus on, if my internet allows me to go to the next game. The Sassuolo game. Sassuolo, one of the sort of revelations of this year. Everyone's sort of expecting them to, a lot of people to go down. I would have guessed so. Myself,
Yeah.
a lot of them to at least be in the fight to go down, and they've definitely have a team that has game where they switch off and they sort of let go of a game. But they've been great. They currently sit 8th, just behind Juve, just 3 points behind Juve, along with Cremonese, the other revelation of this season. They brought out a pretty big victory for them against, I think Lecce was, no, against Fiorentina, of course. Fiorentina might actually go to Serie B. I was
My
not
God,
worried
that's
for
so
them.
dire.
Even they were last, they were like, okay, we'll pick it up. But that game was
It's
crazy. They go up and then they concede some ridiculous goals. De Gea is completely in his head. They get a penalty. Gudmundsson refuses to take it. Their new manager says Gudmundsson can't refuse to take penalties. Gudmundsson replies to him via social media saying, "I never refuse to take a penalty. We just have a different taker. I would never fight on the field." Mess. And now I'm worried for Fiorentina
yeah.
because they have a squad to be, sixth, what they were last year, I think. And they're dead last and never won a game, and it's looking bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, Fiorentina. I shouldn't say they're the biggest institution in Italy, but I mean that's a team that's looking for, if they get relegated, it's looking like a insolvency type situation. It was like Parma quite a few years ago. When they got relegated and then just fell into the financial despair. And Fiorentina is what I take that back, is one of Italy's football institutions. If you
Yeah.
look at it throughout the years, Firenze in general, they've had some great players throughout the years, and it would be kind of sad to see. I lived in Florence for about 5 months a few years ago, and I know how much Fiorentina, the football team, actually means to the city, even though it's got its other more important things, maybe your Michelangelos and your David statues. But yeah, that's really worrying, and I don't think it would be. It's great for Serie A in general.
Yeah. Although, give me a little Moise Kean on the cheap. I'll take a Gudmundsson. I'll take a Dodo.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a few.
I
There's a
think
few good finds in those sale baskets.
but you know what? Actually, Fiorentina, you guys deserve this for holding back Milenkovic all these years ago. Was it when we tried to sign him? Was it 3-4 years ago? And
Yeah.
it just became this big debacle. So
I
that's
feel
what you
like
guys
the
deserve.
Milan history is there's always a few of those players that were meant to sign for 2 or 3 summers in a row that never came. I feel like Milenkovic Savic was those.
Yeah.
I feel like even Tevez before he went to Juve. I feel like every summer we were getting Tevez until he went to Juve.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
yes,
giving us or keeping Montolivo for so long so that he turned 33 and just was dog shit.
yeah, I
That's
still
what you guys deserve relegation for this. I don't hold grudges.
tough
I don't hold
words,
grudges.
tough words.
I'm gonna be
but-
eating those words in our next game or whenever we play them next.
Yeah, maybe if they don't win still until then, they'll find their first win against us. But yeah, Sassuolo is sort of the revelation. They were looking very good. No Berardi, who gets injured, so that's at least a little bit of a a good sign for us, as we know how much Domenico Berardi likes to absolutely punish Milan. But they're
Yeah.
looking like a good squad, who's, the championship is still very long and everyone's still very close, but gonna stay up. How big is this game? After the Torino win, everyone's good spirits, but the truth is, once again, we came onto the pitch asleep. It took us 2 big slaps in the face to sort of wake up. Yeah. How do you think we react to this? Is there a chance that we can sort of get on the same vibe as Napoli and Inter and start dominating these games and putting them away like a side that's hoping to win the Scudetto would do?
Yeah, I mean, I said it the last podcast. I hope so. Maybe that, now because we've been on a run of playing against, I guess, good quality teams, or at least the top 8-ish. Then maybe the Torino game was a wake up call. There were some different conditions as well. We're playing at 12:30, which I can't remember the last time we did. Certainly haven't done it this season. It's always been evening games.
Yeah, early or
you know,
late for us
or-
because no
Yeah.
European football.
So I'm gonna for once enjoy a 12:30 kickoff.
I know it's kind of nice not having to
See
to
the
be up
light,
late.
especially now in December we can actually watch a game in sunlight or at least daylight. It's got a bit of a recipe for disaster for us. Maybe we're going into the Supercoppa after this game. I shouldn't say it's a bit of a break, but we play the Supercoppa against Lazio. Depending on if we go through against, or is it Lazio we play against?
In the
Napoli,
Supercoppa,
sorry,
no, it's Napoli and then the winner
Napoli,
of
yeah.
Inter Bologna.
Bologna, yeah. And then after that, I think our next game is after Christmas. Depending on if we go through against Napoli, but in the Serie A at least, there's a good 2-week break in between.
Yeah, we'll have Hellas Verona on the 28th coming back.
Yeah. So I think it'd be nice to go into me going back to Sweden and celebrating Christmas with another 3 points. That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
But
and staying top of the league.
I'm gonna have my pessimistic corner now. I've kind of switched because I've been so positive this season.
I know, maybe it hasn't worked,
And-
or it has. We're top of the league.
It has worked. Actually, it has worked, but not the way I wanted it. I want a 3-0 domination victory like we did against Udinese, against Torino, against Sassuolo. I think Fabio Grosso's done really well with that team.
Yeah.
I just remember, I was just thinking like, who's the manager? Oh, yeah, it is Fabio Grosso. Oh yeah, he was part of that crazy Lyon situation, like 2 years ago before he signed for Sassuolo when things were thrown at him.
Yeah.
Getting to the bus, that just completely escaped my mind. But luckily we don't have to play against Berardi because that guy, like you say, loves to punish us.
Absolute
And
nightmare.
we always open up to be punished by him. We love a punishment by Berardi.
We do love a bit of punishment. Hey, there's no joy
And
without punishment.
we were somewhat celebrating 2 seasons ago when we said Sassuolo are out. Yes, let's go. We won't have to play against Berardi. Berardi will be sold. He won't be playing for Sassuolo. Psych. But yeah,
He stayed
obviously,
there.
I
A
don't
true
wish I don't wish
bandiera.
him any. I don't wish him any harm, obviously. But I think it's quite good that we don't have to play him because that guy loves an assist and a goal against us.
Yeah, I mean, then I guess who we expect to play. Look, the defense is gonna be all the same. We don't have to go back. The spot is, I think it's gonna be Bartezaghi, Salemakers, who gets the nod up top. It seems unlikely that Leao will make it. His scan did not reveal a deep muscle injury, but he still has some discomfort that they want to monitor because, of course, there's bigger games ahead. So the goal is to have him for the Supercoppa. Santi Jimenez has started to reach whatever that means, the rehabilitation from the pitch, running, re-physicizing. I don't know what that means. I don't think anyone knows what's really going on. Also, the club has been not so clear. So maybe we see him. Even if he makes the game, I doubt he'd be starting. Which leaves in Kuku, of course. Pulisic
probably.
should start. Do you think it'll be those two, or do you think Max throws Ruben Loftus-Cheek up top again?
I mean, the fact that Nkunku played 90 minutes, I think that means that Allegri quite liked him in a way, or at least let him have the chance.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I kind of want to see him. I liked how Nkunku and Pulisic worked. I did not like how Pulisic and Leao worked. They were not finding each other and literally on top of each other for the whole 25 minutes that Leao was on the pitch.
And Leao,
Just really like the same square meter. They were just all over. So I'm not sure if that fit works. Pulisic proves that, as always, Swiss Army knife, he can kind of fill in the space wherever someone isn't. So I'd like to see that. I like to see Ricci start, to be honest. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek will start probably. I don't know if midfield or attack. But I like to see Ricci start. I really liked what I saw from him. And then this is the time as we wrap up. Score prediction. You said you're feeling pessimistic and this could be a trap game.
Yeah.
Are you going against the boys?
No, I will never go against the boys. I love the boys. The boys are my favorite.
This podcast is a boys loving podcast. hey, rewind that. Take that out. We're not on the fly logs. You can check. We're not.
We're not on the flight logs. Yeah. No, look. I think I'm gonna go straight out there. I think it's gonna be a difficult game for us in a way.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling I have. It's a 12:30 kickoff. We haven't had a 12:30 kickoff before this season.
Yeah.
It's against Sassuolo. It's at home. It's just before Christmas. The panettones are rolling out. At Milanello. The Pandoros are being rolled out. I'm gonna go 2-1 Milan. So still a win.
Okay.
But it's gonna be a difficult one again, like against Torino, but not coming back from.
No easy ones this year. Not so far.
No easy ones. No.
Yeah. Look, if we fail to turn up against the Torino side, where we had the chance to go top of the league, we have all the results. We sort of are supposed to have all the motivation in the world. A 12:30 Sunday game. Before a trip to Saudi scares me. I would agree with you. I think, not the most likely result next, but I could definitely see a draw.
You're thinking a draw, yeah.
In the cards.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'll call it a draw, but, I could definitely see it. I'm going to say Chris Nkunku will blow up his balloon for the first time in Serie A this season. We can see how many he's got left in his socks. Maybe that's why he's not so mobile, because the balloons are sort of building up in the socks, as we were talking about the other day. Give me a 2-0. Chris Pulisic and Nkunku striking force.
Double Chris goal.
Chris goal. I mean, at this point, every 64 minutes or whatever you said. So probably Chris goal minutes. And Chris assist on the Nkunku goal, so he gets both.
Okay.
And let's hope. I like your prediction more than mine, and then I said maybe I could be convinced by a draw, but
I think goal scorers for me would be Pulisic, of course, will score because he scores every 40 minutes, and it's going to be a Pavlovic goal. Big Pavlo.
Where's a higher chance to score, Pavlovic or Nkunku? I wonder what the odds are. It might be Pavlovic.
Absolutely.
Yikes.
I mean, that's no diss to Pavlovic, but yeah,
Susovi says Christmas. Tis the season for Pulisic, the MJ of soccer. Then we discussed how Pulisic is the GOAT. We talked about a big win, top of the league. Discussed a little bit of Mercato. Bring Musa back. Bring Camarda back. Bring all the boys are back. Bring the boys back for Christmas.
Bring the boys back.
And,
it's gonna
and
be
we
a
talk
boys
about how
only
we're
Christmas.
gonna annihilate Sassuolo, even though probably not really, and it's gonna be a close one, maybe a draw.
Yeah.
And we leave it at that.
Fiorentina gets relegated.
And Fiorentina gets relegated, and we snatch Moise Kean. As always, Oscar, thank you for doing this. If you're making it this far, drop a comment. I want you to comment KSK Honda. Deep far, and there's gonna be no comments.
There are some underlying themes in all our podcasts.
I know we've been pushing it. KSK Honda.
Players are underrated.
For years.
Honda makes some sort of appearance in one of our segments. And,
this should actually be the Easter egg. Every podcast from now on, we find a way to actually sneak Honda, but in a smart way. Not like you just bring him up randomly, but like, you know, it has to be some context to it.
It reminds me of another great Milan number 10. We've had so many. Keisuke Honda.
Exactly. It always has to make sense. But I think we can call it there. Thank you for doing this. And as always,
thank you.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.